All right, good evening. This is Jim Howard with Trinity Security Allies, where our ministry is your church's safety. We're getting ready to get started. We're going to be covering getting ready for Christmas. There is a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on today, a lot. And we have a lot of information to cover. So we're going to get started here in a second. Please be patient. We have a couple of issues that we're trying to clear out and make sure that it's okay. So stay with me. All right, we're going to get started here in a minute. We get started at 8:03. As soon as it turns 8:03, we're going. All right. This is Jim Howard with Wendy Howard. She's helping me out. We are getting ready to start our webinar on getting ready for Christmas. Like I said, it has been an unusual day, and we're kind of don't know where it's going to go. So we had a lot of stuff that we were planning on talking about tonight, and then all of a sudden some things happen. And so we're just going to see where it goes. All right, sign of the times. I can't tell you how many people I've heard that say they want a refund on the year 2020. I mean, this will go down as the year COVID-19. We have seen it affect the whole world. And it is one of those things that we're trying to get a grasp on. But there's some good news. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the churches had started to open back up again. And of course, they've been doing different things like closing off every other row, making sure you're wearing a mask. Different things like that. Our church has a little bit of an open feeling to it. We have the front row, the front area of the church where we kind of open it up to where you can wear a mask or not wear a mask if you feel comfortable. We do suggest that you do social distancing, and we do suggest that, you know, when you're talking to somebody and not social distancing, that you should have your mask on. But it is one of these things that this has just been the most unusual year in my lifetime, I can tell you, as far as having something like this in the background that is continuously changing the way things are going or the things are happening. And of course, then we also have the civil unrest that's going on. This has just really just changed the United States, especially as far as what is happening. I mean, we just saw Trump supporters in DC, you know, tens of thousands of Trump supporters in a peaceful protest, what we can call an actual protest, where later on we're confronted by Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and the different groups like that. It's just really sad when we can't go out and peacefully, voice our opinion without being attacked by some of these other organizations. But we've seen this all year long. So now, here just this today, we heard that Trump's attorneys have come out and they're filing suit against the 2020 election on the results. So even now, we're still seeing a lot of chaos that is going on. It's not over. And of course, we're waiting to see what happens and where this goes. I mean, this was a bombshell today of the different information that was put out. I have to go back and kind of digest it because it's one of these things that I'll know that I'll be talking about in future podcasts or maybe even a Facebook Live. But we will be talking about these things because the outcome of this is going to affect us one way or the other. Are we going to be targets because we need to, go with the left leaning, or are we going to be targets because of the president of the United States is still Donald Trump? It is just one of these things that we've got to get ready for. We do have to get ready for it. And that's some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight. Now, one of the things that I was doing was really working on how churches are going to be addressing the COVID-19 issue for Christmas. But then all of a sudden, the White House comes out today and says that they have vaccines ready to go, that they're going to seek an emergency approval from the FDA. And if it is approved by the end of this week, which of course is tomorrow, but if it is approved, they're going to have it out within weeks. Now, of course, we're 35 days away from Christmas, this could be a game changer. This could be a game changer. We don't know. We really do not know what is going to happen when this vaccine hits the street. But if you went out and you watched the talk about it from the White House today, you should if you didn't. It's very encouraging. They've been planning on this Operation Warp Speed. They have been getting this ready to go so that it will be out across the United States as soon as it is approved. It's amazing. It is truly amazing. So one of the things that, like I said, all of a sudden, this may change everything. We don't know yet. We don't know what the effects are going to be. We don't know how many people they can vaccinate, all these different things like that. They're talking about being able to do millions of people within a couple of weeks. So we really need to see what's about to happen. But then, of course, while they're standing there talking, they come to us and they say, well, Thanksgiving is coming up, but we want you to continue to do small gatherings. We want you to avoid congregate meetings. In other words, they really don't want you going to church. I mean, you can practice the CDC guidelines. You can do those type of things like that. But I can tell you that people are really kind of tired of what is happening in reference to this virus. So it's just one of these things of where we don't know where it's going to go. But what concerns me is in certain states, pictures like this could be against the law because you have multiple families gathering together without face masks and enjoying Thanksgiving. It's bizarre. It is unbelievable. It's hard to fathom what we're going through. People in 50 years from now will just not even understand what we went through in 2020 with the COVID-19. But you know, we've got Thanksgiving next week, and then right around the corner, we have Christmas. And we need to be planning at our churches on what we are going to have 7 services. Because why? Because we have the Creasters coming out right now, those that come to Christmas and those that come at Easter. But here's the other thing too. There's a lot of people that want to get out here and get into the church, and especially if the COVID-19 vaccine comes out, there's going to be celebrations going on. There's going to be incredible celebrations. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that we are ready at your churches, planning on how we're going to handle the people that are going to be coming in. Now, when I first, I was talking to one of the churches that we work with, and they were asking me this question because I'm going to be on a safety team call with them this Monday. And they asked me how other churches were going to handle, you know, the influx of people that will be coming to the churches for Christmas. And so I went out to an organization that I belong to. I went out to the Faith-Based Security Network. Now, this is an organization that is based on nothing but protecting churches. I mean, that's what they do. I mean, this is just sharing information with people around the country. They have 513 members right now covering over 43 states. And so this is a good organization that if you have not heard anything about it, please go out and take a look at it. They do have a lot of information, and they do have a lot of good people out there. Carl Chin is the one that has put this together. This is really Carl Chin's baby. And if you don't know anything about Carl Chin, he went around with the Sheepdog group. He keeps the statistics on church violence. He's a great resource. And this is just this is a networking group that we meet a lot of times on Saturdays, and we talk about things that we're seeing across the country, not just in our own neighborhoods, but across the country. So when I reached out to them and asked them, how are you handling the Christmas, with probably the more people come in, I got all sorts of answers, all sorts. Some were being very careful, very cautious. Others were like, let the doors open up and let people come in. Others came back and was just like, wear a face mask and do social distancing and don't let so many people in. But the thing of it is that I noticed about all the responses was the love for their members. They don't want a member to get sick from the COVID-19. They don't want a member to die from the COVID-19. So they're going to err on that side of precaution just to make sure that everybody is covered or everybody is protected. Now, at the same time that they're trying to do this and put this together, then they're also going to be watching out for the wolves in sheep clothing. But this organization and the people that responded to my question all are about protecting their members. And of course, every one of them want this to be over. They're just like me. I can't wait till I can burn that mask. I'm looking forward to where I can put one away so I can keep it. So in 50 years, well, maybe 20 years, I can pull it out and talk to hopefully my grandchildren about what we were doing in 2020 and the COVID-19. We're going to remember this year because of all the things that we went through and how we still kept growing as Christians in our churches. So they all wanted, they like I said, make no mistake, no matter how you looked at it, they all talked about the procedures that they're going to do, small churches, limiting the people that are coming into the church, making sure that people wear a mask, especially in certain areas. Other churches were like, don't sing. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was going back and forth. You have to reserve a seat before you can come, like you go to a restaurant. It was very interesting in what they were doing with all the different things that trying to protect their members of their congregation. I was really impressed with the responses I got. So now let's get into what we're looking at for Christmas. Let's start thinking about this for a moment. There are a lot of people that are going to be coming into the churches just excited about being back. Listen, if this vaccine comes out and is successful and starts knocking the numbers down, we're going to have a lot to celebrate. But we also still have some issues that have been caused by COVID-19. The guys in the CDC today were talking about on this is they don't agree with the lockdowns. They don't. They believe in us using good sense of doing social distancing, wearing the mask, washing our hands, all the different things like that we should be doing anyway. It shouldn't be anything that we should, maybe not the mask, but we should be preaching and teaching proper hygiene. That's just the way it should be doing. But when people are coming into church, we have to be careful here because we could have a lot of people that are still hurting. We could have a lot of people that have lost loved ones, that have a financial loss because they've lost their business, or domestic violence because we see an increase in it when we do these lockdowns. And there's other states out here that are they're going to come back and do some more lockdowns, it seems like. It is very scary about what we could be facing again. Hopefully, because of the news about the vaccine, we won't see that. Hopefully, this is the light at the end of this COVID-19 tunnel. We are praying and we're hoping, and we all should, as a nation, pray that this comes out and is successful, and we get to see the drops of the cases of COVID-19 across the country. But even though that might be the celebration, we still have to be cautious because of things that we're still seeing out here that had nothing to do with the COVID-19. We are still seeing attacks against the churches because of civil unrest. It is one of these things that we have to understand that this is not going to go away. No matter who wins this election, no matter who it is, whether it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump, we have to understand that there's already something started that is not going to stop for a while. And we need to be prepared about this. We need to understand that there are going to continue to be attacks on churches because there are outside organizations that are going to try to disrupt what we're going through right now and who we are. We have to understand that when we look at Antifa or Black Lives Matters, they're an outside threat to the church. And let me just say this, you have to understand why I'm pushing this. 76 to 81% of the people that voted for Donald Trump claim to be evangelical, born-again Christians. So if he were to come back into power, there's going to be a lot of turmoil out here, and churches are going to be a target. They're going to become targets. They're already targets. It's just that they're doing vandalisms and attacks mostly in the darkness. But we have seen, as we saw over in France, attacks during daytime. As we saw in Ocala, Florida here, where we had a van drive into a Catholic church and pour gasoline out on the floor and set it on fire while people were inside. So these outside threats are not going to end. they're not going to end. So we have to be prepared in case we get information. This is why it is so important to network with your police, to network with other churches, because if things start to go south, we want to make sure that we're talking to each other about what is happening out here. We also have to worry about the inside threats. We've already seen several people that have come into our church. We had a breakdown in communications. We had a guy that got right up on the front, in the front row, that really caused the pastor to become too much concerned about this person instead of being able to concentrate on the service. And so when we have things like this, this is an inside threat. Now, we have to be watching out for these people because they're going to come in looking like everyday people. The ones that we have on the screen, you know, really, we'll see them before they make it inside. But yet the two that we had come into our church to cause a disruption look like normal everyday people. They came in with an agenda, though, and we have to be prepared about that. Now, we talk about what to look for when people come into the church. And trust me, the two people that came in were spotted. It's just that nobody talked about it. This is where we found out that we had a breakdown in our training. And we're going to get into the training in a minute here, but we need to understand that there are still these type of threats that are out there. They have not gone away. They have not gone away. In fact, they'll probably increase, because if they see a cause, and a cause is to come in and disrupt the church that may be conservative. And I will say this, you know, our church we had a member in our church that stopped coming to the church because he felt that we were a conservative church and that he couldn't come in because of his beliefs of being on a liberal side. But as soon as Joe Biden was called as the possible next president, he showed back up into the church. Now, when he showed back up into the church because of what he had said, it caused me a little bit of concern, because I'm thinking to myself, did he come back in here to start trouble? Because, you know, Joe Biden is the president-elect. We know he hasn't been called yet by certain organizations, but he has been called the president. Did he come in to do that? So when we have people that have been so outspoken about the political climate, we need to make sure that whoever wins, we're paying attention to those people that might have been on one side or the other. And really, to tell you the truth, we need to make sure that they're okay. We need to make sure that their needs are met. They may be upset. I can tell you right now, the people that I know that are conservatives, that are worried about this, it sometimes causes them not to sleep at night. And I think that this is wrong, that we need to be working toward trusting God, that God's going to have this in control. Listen, I really feel like that we as Christians got out and did our part. It's now the part of the government to take care of the rest of this, and let's see how it unfolds. But we still need to be prepared for the ones that are going to be coming into our church that are going to be upset over the COVID-19, over domestic violence, over conservative Christians or liberal Christians, whichever side it may be on. We have to be ready for it, because we've seen it on both sides. If you're a church that puts out a sign that says Black Lives Matters, I agree that Black lives do matter just as also all lives matters. But it is not right for somebody to come and tear down your sign. It's not right. I understand what you're saying, but let's make sure that we're clear on which Black Lives Matters we're talking about. But if it's just because you say that they matter, sure, all lives matter. And we need to make sure that we as conservative Christians also protect those that may have a liberal point of view. It does not matter. We are all Christians. We're all Christians. So we have to keep that in mind. We also have to start watching people as far as the clothing goes, because, hey, even down here in Florida, it has started to get a little cool. And I was out, we had our youth group outside our church last night, and it got down into the 60s, and you would have thought it was in the 30s in Cedar Rapids. These people were running around complaining because they didn't have jackets and had to go home and get them. So this is this time of year when we're going to start to see more clothing. But if we have disguises that come in, we need to make sure that we address that person as soon as they walk into the door. We don't want something like the West Freeway Church of Christ happening again. DHS warned us back in June. looking over our policies and procedures because of chatter over the internet, of hate speech, different things like that. No threats against churches, but it could happen. We've seen it happen. So we need to make sure that we're doing our training with all of our staff and our volunteers. Now, we're going to get ready for Christmas. So this is what I tell you we need to be doing. Start planning now. Have the dates. I know the dates and the times. Get that out to the safety team. Start putting your safety teams together. Since COVID-19 has come and hit our church, a lot of our safety team members have not come back. We might need to pull some other people in, other people that have been interested in it before that we have not included in our teams. We may need to start going to them and finding new safety team members, because I do know that like I said, my group has kind of been cut down a little bit, but fortunately for me, people have been coming in that want to work with the safety team. Be careful who comes in. Make sure that they're members of your church. Make sure that they've been involved in some other place inside your church instead of just letting them come in and be a part of the safety team. They should be working somewhere else, but they could be your eyes and ears and paying attention to those that come in. But start planning now by getting the dates together. Make sure that you have the dates. You need to meet with staff and the leaders of the church and just push it that you need to have some sort of training before Christmas comes. If it's only one day that you can get people in to get them to understand this is what we expect from you. If you see something that makes you feel uncomfortable, do not blow it off like, oh, that person's having a bad day, especially if it's somebody you do not know, a new person that walks in. We're going to have a lot of new people in. If we have somebody that comes in that is irritated, irate, upset, make sure that they tell you, the safety team members, that, hey, this person was a little rude or a little upset about what was going on, so that you can be sure to watch that person to make sure that it doesn't bleed over into your worship center. But we need to be training our volunteers and our staff, because we just had training in our church. And I can tell you right now, a lot of the staff and volunteers didn't have a clue what we did. And so we had to get in there and make sure that we started talking to them. We have people that have moved in positions in the church, and some of them didn't know what we did with the children's ministry and was very excited about when they found out how much we watch the children's ministry, how we put it as one of our number one priorities. And the other thing that you need to make sure that you're doing is you need to make sure that you're watching your parking lot. Because what happens a lot of times, if your services, people have gone out shopping, gone out and had dinner, or things like that, they're going to bring all that stuff back into your church. And you're going to have people that are going to be breaking into cars at your church and stealing gifts. So you need to have somebody out there, make sure that you have a rover and that they're out there driving around and watching the vehicles. Network with other churches. I say this over and over again. We put it out here. I don't know. I mean, Wendy and I have shouted till we're blue in the face. And maybe it's because we're doing this type of stuff right here that we're not seeing the people show up on the networking. And it could be COVID-19 too. It's hard to decide. We knew that we were going to go to a church that was going to require masks. And we felt like that maybe that stopped people from signing up for it because the church required it. But the thing of it is we need to be networking with these churches. We need to be sharing information. This faith-based security network with Carl Chin and his group, they're all over the country, but still networking. And we get good information from them all the time. We get good information from churches in Colorado, churches in New York. You know, we hear information from these churches of things that they have seen that we're starting to look for down here. And of course, always, always, always include your local law enforcement. If you have special times that you're doing, invite them in. Let them come in. Give them a cup of coffee. Give them a pastry. Give them something. Get them to come in. Make sure that they know that they are loved and needed and praised because of what they do. They have been out here during this COVID-19 working harder than anybody else, and we need to make sure that we tell them we appreciate it. And can we pray for them? Make sure that these are the things that you're doing when you run into a law enforcement officer. Network. I'm going to say this again. We have to make sure that we're networking. We have to share information out here. We need to make sure that we're getting that information out to people, because if you have somebody that comes into your church, if they spot you, if they spot a safety team, if they know they've been watched, you're going to see them leave and go to another church. It happens all the time. We've seen it. We've had sexual offenders. We've had prophets go from one church to the other. We had a lady that went from one church to the other that just disrupted the services every single time she went into a church. So we network and we share this. We've had panhandlers go from church to church. So we know these people are out here. So network and share information. It's very important. Always, always, always have your local law enforcement on campus if possible. Shoot, just invite them to drive through. Have the church get them something, a cup or something like that. We have cups, really nice cups. Give it to your law enforcement officers. Give them one. Make sure that they know that they're appreciated. If they drive on your campus, like I said, give them coffee, different things like that. Make them want to come back. Show them the love that you have for them and have them come back. So it's one of these things that we have to be out here working with our local law enforcement, because these are the time of year that this is someone, we all look forward to Christmas. It is the birth of our Savior. It is the time that we celebrate his birth, but it's also a time where people do hurt. We know it. We've seen it. We've been out here. We've seen domestic issues. We've seen people that get suicidal during this time of year. It's one of these times that it is so good to us, but yet it is hard on other people, people that don't have enough, people that have lost money during the COVID thing, to where they cannot have the Christmas that they wanted to. And so it weighs heavy on them. So we need to be out here and we need to be reaching out to the people that are in our neighborhoods, to the people that are out here in need. And we also need to reach out to our law enforcement. It could be the greatest Christmas in a long time with the COVID-19 news. It could be one of the best times ever because of what we're hearing. We could be starting to get back to normal because of the news of today. But on the other hand, even though that news is great news, with what is going on with this election, I see trouble on the horizon, and we need to be prepared in our churches. Even if all of a sudden we are allowed to come back into our churches full force, the COVID-19 is a thing of the past, like smallpox or the measles and things like that. It is gone. It is just one of these things that we have to be, it is still there, but we have the vaccine for it. But we got to be still prepared. It does not change what is happening out here in this world. It is a fallen world. We see more and more attacks on churches. There are going to continue to be more until Christ comes home again. And we need to make sure that we're ready for whatever is coming our way. So, Wendy, any questions out there?
We don't have any questions, but we do have a comment from James Shoemaker. Some South Sarasota County churches are trying to start a networking group. Sarasota Sheriff's Deputy will be attending our next meeting on 11:30 at 10 a.m. at Venice Colonial Baptist Church. So he's inviting anybody in that area that would like to come. And so, James, if you can, I'm going to go ahead and save this information, and I'll put this in the follow-up email in case anybody wants to go. Actually, I'm going to need you to, if you can send me the address and everything for that church, I'll go ahead and put that out to the group. And then I don't see any other questions.
Well, you know where you can find us. We're not going anywhere. So if you have any other questions that you think about after we're finished here tonight, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. Please get ready for Christmas, folks. I can't say this enough. I worry about us being lax because it may be a time of celebration, but even the celebration that we're looking at, there's still going to be issues out here. It's not going to go away for a while. It truly is not. Really, to tell you the truth, I don't see it getting any better until Christ comes back. I just really don't. And so I think that we really need to start being better prepared for what we're about to see come our way. And, I tell people I am very fortunate. We live in Florida. We are very fortunate. We live in Florida. And our governor has come up and said about these people that want to riot, or these people that the civil unrest and the different things like that. We're not going to put up with it in this state. I'm so thankful that he has come out. He has made the sentencing stricter, more severe. And so hopefully it's a deterrent for these people doing the things. But in other states where this is kind of the norm, I worry about our brothers and sisters in those states. So please be prepared. Please be watching out for what's going to happen during this time. I have a feeling we're going to see something that happens, more vandalisms, more churches being burnt down, and maybe even physical attacks on churches. It just concerns me. So if there are no other questions or discussion, anybody want to bring up anything? You know, we say questions, but also discussion. Because if not, I'm not going to take up much more of your time because I appreciate you coming out tonight anyway. So I'll go through the rest of it. We're about to send in the second edit on it. And as soon as the second edit is done, we're sending it over to one more person that's going to make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. All the words are spelled right. That's their job. And then we're going to be ready to send it to print. So if you want a copy of God's Unseen Plan for a $25 donation to the ministry, this helps us pay for the book. It helps the ministry. Then please contact us. We'll get you a paperback. For $30 or more of a donation, we're going to give you a hard copy of it. So we're really excited because this is going faster than we really thought it was going to. I mean, we've been really working on it real hard. So we're hoping that we're going to see something here really soon, really soon. The next time I'm doing training, now we don't have anything planned here locally, but if anybody knows anybody in the Tidewater area, the Hampton Roads area, I'm going to be up there Saturday, December the 12th at Coastal Virginia Church on 301 South Newtown Road. It is out on our webpage at TrinitySecurityAllies.com. You can go out there and you can register for it. It's going to be between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock. We're going to be talking about Sunday morning, what to look for. We're really excited about getting back up into the Tidewater area. We're really looking forward to it. So if you know people up in that area, let them know that we're going to be there and that they can come and hear us at Coastal Virginia Church at 301 South Newtown Road in Norfolk. Come out and listen to us Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. We do our Facebook Live, and this is where we talk about things that we're seeing that are happening during the week. There's always something going on. It is never a week goes by that we don't have something to talk about. And so come out. We're going to be on Facebook a little while longer. We're worried about Facebook. We've had some issues. They have flagged us on some of the stuff that we posted. That's okay. I kind of am happy that we got noticed. You know, I never thought Wendy and I would ever say at any time that we've been flagged by Facebook, but apparently we've said some things that cause them concern, and good. Because we only talk God's truth. That's just all there is to it. So come out at 8 o'clock, Facebook Live. Hopefully we'll see you there. We also have our free resources out there. This is on our webpage. You can go to our webpage. If you're thinking of starting a safety team, we put out these 4 documents out there: putting together a safety plan, developing a safety team, carrying weapons in the church, and Sunday morning, what to look for. These are all free. All you got to do is just fill out the information of who you are, and you can download it. It's out there. So if you're interested in starting something, there's the information for you. We have online membership programs. Sign up today to access our online church safety training library for just $25 a month. That has our live online training that you can access at any time and share with your team. You can't beat this. A membership will give you a ticket to our annual church safety and liability conference. And of course, a membership helps support the ministry. All you got to do is go to TrinitySecurityAllies.com memberships for more information. We also have church memberships, and our church memberships are $125 a month, or if you pay for the year, it's $100 a month. This gets you training that would normally cost you around $1,200 anyway, And also, it also gets you 5 tickets into the conference. We also appreciate your prayers, because without your prayers, we wouldn't be where we are today. We know that. And we also are looking for people that could help us as far as donations go. We would like to be able to go out to 90% of the churches that are out here that are small churches, 500 or less, because we want to give them the training like every other church has. We want to make sure that they're safe also. So please, if you know of somebody that is looking for a 501c3, hey, it is getting close to the end of year. If they'd like to make a donation, we are a 501c3. So if they want to make a donation, have them contact us. We do have a YouTube page out there. You can go and find it. We put a lot of our stuff out there, like our Facebook Lives that are out there. We also recommend that if you carry a weapon, if you have a concealed weapons permit, that you check out USCCA. You don't drive a car without insurance. You should not be carrying a weapon without some sort of protection. They provide top-notch education, training, self-defense, legal protection for all responsible armed Americans. And really, to tell you the truth, even if you don't use any type of force that you may have to use on somebody to protect your family or yourself, they will protect you. They will help you in court. Join now to gain true peace of mind with the USCCA Legal and Financial Protection and Support Ministry. We are affiliates of theirs. So go to www.usccapartners.com/Trinity SA, or just go to our webpage and click on the icon there that says USCCA. I'm going to talk about this just one more time, because really Carl Chin's been a lot of help to us, and he's trying to help us get our membership up. I really appreciate what they have done. This is called the Faith-Based Security Network. Go check it out. Take a look at it. Like I said, they do have a lot of good information out there, and we work with them, and they try to promote us. And they were really good about responding to any question that I may have. Go check them out. It's something that you may be interested in, especially if you belong to a safety team or you're a safety team leader. You probably want to look at this, because it's something that you may want to belong to, because it shares information of people across the country, not just here in your local area. I want to thank you again for coming out. Please have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Be safe out here. Just make sure that what you do, even involving the COVID-19 or just being out here and being around, we do know that Black Friday's around the corner. Just be safe out here. Always, always, always check your six. Make sure that you're looking around, looking for the anomalies. Set your baseline wherever you go, and just be safe and secure. I always appreciate you out here. God bless you, and God bless this country, and we will talk soon.